Wednesday morning. We are so delighted to have our guest in the studio. Hope you are enjoying our show wherever you are. Keep us tuned so that we can know where you're watching us from. Our roads, weather. Let us know. Let us know where you're watching us from. Yes, yes, yes. Our God is so faithful today. Being on a Career Wednesday, we have our guest in the studio. Yes, yes, yes. From the far end. From the far end. Yeah.
I'm Jeff Croker, and I'm the director of the LIFT program, and that's with the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, which is about 14,000 kilometers from here.
Oh.
Jumbo, my name is Jaya Varshni from UBC Slaughter as well. I'm one of the LIFT trainers here, and this is my first time with the LIFT program.
Karibu, karibu.
Habari yako,
Mzuri sana.
My name is Zixian Han. You can also call me Andrew. And I'm also part of the Soldier Lift Africa travel team member.
Okay, can you just tell us a bit about the program, the company? Yeah, just tell us a bit about it, yeah?
All right, so LIFT, it stands for Leadership, Innovation, Fundamental Training, although the more important word is lift, which is to lift people up. Not just people here in Kenya, but lift Jaya up, lift Andrew up, lift myself up. So it's a positive word. And the program is part of the University of British Columbia, Sauder School of Business. So it's an extension of the university learning environment. And the main, if you were to put two words together, it would be fueling entrepreneurship and capacity building.
Okay.
So those kind of pairings of words. So and they'll talk to it more, but Jaya and Andrew teach in the program. So we teach in a variety of communities. Actually, we have a session really close to this office here in Githurai. And basically it's capacity building, so it's business entrepreneurship training that and the age of people from 20 all the way up easily to 60 years old. So it's not an age dependent thing, and the target is people that are aspiring to be in business or people that have just started with the goal to plant the seed, impanzi, to plant the seed so that their business can grow at a better trajectory when it starts, or if they're already existing, to have it grow at a better pace. And we want to create economic betterment in that.
Yeah, the way you said that lifting up, huh? Yeah, what do you, like, can you explain a bit? Because, like, there's somebody somewhere, like, he's like, the business, you guys are lifting up in a business, entrepreneurship. Yeah, he'd really like to know, like, how are you lifting up in a knowledge-wise, in a capital-wise, in which way?
All right.
Yeah.
I think one of the ways that we're trying to lift people up is, as Jeff mentioned, capacity building. So we're really trying to focus on how can we best support what all the entrepreneurs are currently doing. And so we're not here to do anything for them. We're just here to support them, push them, and bring some tools to help keep allowing them to grow and develop their businesses. And one of the things that I really like about the program is that it is long-term, so these relationships are not just for a short period of time. We try to keep these relationships going on an ongoing basis through WhatsApp and through Zoom, and so it's really our commitment and dedication to helping them succeed in the long term.
Oh, there are so many businesses here in Githurai, so many. So, like, is there a specific business that you are tackling, or it's a whole business? Like, it doesn't matter which kind of business.
We're not, basically the criteria would be more business size. If somebody's already large and successful, that wouldn't be our target. Our target would be like startups or people that might have 1 or 2 employees or just working on their own. So they could be running a hair salon, could be running a daycare, and the goal is for them to be able to expand. So it's, we wouldn't have a participant who has like 10 employees. Generally, that would not be who the target is, because they've already taken off in some way. And our goal would be to take the ones where you're planting the seed, and it's very, very much at sort of germinating level, right?
Okay, yeah. Additional?
Yeah, it's very grassroots, and so
Mhm.
I think we have some like very inspiring stories of people who started from really just an idea and seeing how they progressed. I know Jeff has been with the program for a number of years, and
Mhm.
he's had the privilege of seeing some of these entrepreneurs really flourish, and starting from really just an idea.
Yeah. For how long has the partnership running? For how long?
So the university started doing this type of work in Africa in about
Mhm.
2009,
Okay.
and it's grown in different countries. We're now focusing primarily in Kenya so that we can get some, as you would say, economies of scale and ongoing training. But I've done work in South Africa, Rwanda,
Mm-hmm.
Sudan, and quite a few times to Ethiopia, and
Okay.
then a handful of times here. But now the focus is Kenya
Okay.
for many good reasons, because the opportunity in Kenya is quite abounding
Yeah.
compared to some other countries
Mhm.
when it comes to supply chain. Mombasa, someone wants to start a business, they can have success here.
Mm-hmm.
Other countries is a little more challenging, and then this is always it's just better for us to be in one country. And we have about 20 students here,
Okay. That's nice.
and we live in one set of apartments, and
Mhm.
then we spread out to Githurai, Makadara,
Mhm.
Kibra, Jamhuri area,
Mhm.
and Mathare.
So apart from Nairobi, do you have any other counties? Like, are you dealing with any other counties apart from Nairobi?
Okay, so in a unique way, yes. Normally not, because if we're gonna be in a location, the preference is that someone would be able to walk to the session, to the classroom,
Okay.
or Umratatu, or get there reasonably. We do have a partnership with an NGO in Canada. It's called One Girl Can,
Okay.
and they work only in Kenya by coincidence, and they're in our hometown in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and so their reach is across Kenya,
Okay.
helping women, assisting women in the finances to go through university.
Okay.
So next weekend, in about 9 days,
Okay.
we will be hosting a conference in Nairobi for girls from One Girl Can, and they're from all across Kenya.
Mhm.
So in that unique group, they're from all across Kenya. But our
Okay.
Mathare people would obviously be from Mathare area.
Mhm.
So we do focus in the greater Nairobi area.
Okay, and let's say, for instance, in Kisumu, Mombasa, do you have your offices there so that somebody somewhere can be like, I would really like to join you. I would really like to you, so that you can inspire them and all that stuff. Do you have your offices in any other counties?
Right. We don't have offices even in Nairobi.
Mhm.
We just have partnerships.
Okay.
And
okay.
so, again, during COVID,
Mhm.
we pivoted to doing some online Zoom training, as long as we had a host, set up like this where someone could come to listen.
Okay.
At that point, we could reach people in their homes or communities and consume it, but we don't have a setup in any of those other locations. So our setup is in Nairobi.
I think that's one of the things that makes this a really unique and powerful program, is that we are working really hands-on with people in the community, and we rely on their partnerships.
Mhm.
And so that's, if we didn't have those people to help us facilitate those Zoom calls or reach out to their networks, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing to the extent that we are.
We have 3 or 4 locations going at a time, and we have a PM class and an AM class.
Mhm, mhm.
And I think Andrew can speak to, one of his sections is actually specifically a handicraft group. So it's very interesting. So he could talk to how that is going with that cohort.
Yeah, so for our PM cohort,
Mhm.
it's a handicap cohort. So most of the participants for that cohort is maybe they're physically challenged, on the lab or hand, but they are really willing to learn the business skills and want to grow or start their business. So we're really glad that we can provide training and mentorship for them. I love Jeff's metaphor of server. We are serving them those business tools, and they are the ones to put them into practice in their business.
Oh, let's say, for instance, handcraft. It's Nairobi, whatever. It's in Kilifi. It has got an office in Kilifi, made in Kenya. They do some handcraft. Let's say, do you have information about the moms that does handcraft, maybe in Kitui? Do you partnership with them? Kitui, Machakos, Mombasa? Yes.
Yeah, almost all of our partnerships are focused on the creating a cohort or getting a space that we could, so in Mathari, we're at Shining Stars Academy, and the network of people there reach out to the to Mathari.
Okay.
So primarily, we're not here as an employment kind of help you get a job one. We're more help your business take off. And in that, there's sort of three major themes, sort of marketing related, financial management, and strategy.
Okay.
So if they were, we want to empower them to, most people, it's interesting because in Kenya, everybody says they have a side hustle, and often it's actually the main hustle sometimes. And then for the handicap group, it's even more important. So we're trying to give them some of their own, to try to facilitate some independence
Okay.
by getting some business skills. Obviously, it has to be calibrated slightly differently.
Yeah.
But our main key partners here would be community leaders that would create the correct cohort.
Okay.
And currently across Nairobi now, we have 10 cohorts going, and we had Macadera one last week, and then we have the One Girl Can, so we'll have 12 cohorts in total, and it'll be probably 300 to 350 entrepreneurs.
Okay, you've just mentioned a conference coming in
Yes.
9 days from now, yeah? So, like, do you have any specific invites, or, like, anybody can just come in?
The One Girl Can one is very curated, because One Girl Can is actually, they're the NGO, and they're actually financing that 3-day, and they have the ecosystem that they're working in is a system that is the women that are in the program, which could be up to 700, and then certain ones are graduating from university, and then they filtered it down to people, and the people actually that are in the conference, we've been teaching them online for the last 3 months. So this is like we might call it a capstone. It's the final live where they're going to do cases and pitching. So it's not a conference that we're like trying to advertise for everybody. It's a conference that's a completion of an existing program.
Okay, in additional?
Yeah, I must say, so that's also the uniqueness of the non-water tourism LIFT program.
Yeah.
Like we know just some program maybe they combine the traveling to volunteering, but like LIFT, we focus on the long-term connections, and we focus on the learning cycle of every participant.
Oh, because like you've mentioned like a Zoom, like most of your meetings are on Zoom and all that stuff. And let's say, for instance, that person who is in the places that can't access the internet and all that stuff, how do you reach them?
So obviously during COVID we couldn't travel, and normally we travel here for the month of May, and then we line up teaching through the whole month. When COVID hit, then we pivoted and we have a studio in our university that we could use. So then what we needed on the other side was a studio, kind of like this, but a studio but like this, but actually had like table space for participants. And so we set up a LIFT Learning Lab in Mathari at Shining Stars Academy. So those people could come there and get free Wi-Fi and everything. Now, if somebody is a one-off person in Mombasa or Kisumu, if they don't have access to any type of Wi-Fi, then of course part of our program would never be reaching them. Just like this TV program won't reach that person if they don't have a TV.
That's so
right?
true.
So we built the videos and all of the assessments on the self-learning to be, we haven't heard of anybody not being able to load it because it's too big, so it gets quite heavily condensed because people are watching on a small thing, so it doesn't seem to have any kind of barrier. They do need Wi-Fi, obviously. So we're running a program in Githurai for the first time, and now that we know that she has Wi-Fi, we could potentially do a teaching from there also. The tricky part, of course, is it's 10-hour time change, so the days and nights conflict, but we work around that.
Oh, that's really nice. So any additional specific place in Githurai?
It's the lady's name is Mercy, and it's something. It's a salon that added a daycare, and she's she's went through a program. Very successful business person, very clever to add a daycare beside the salon, because the idea was women go for their hair and they want to relax, and then the kids can get taken care of in the daycare. also in the daycare could run like a daycare.
Yeah.
So what we did when we came here this year, for the first time, we asked her, could we use some of the daycare space to run a training session?
Okay.
So we have about 18 people in the morning
Mhm.
and about 18 to 20 people in the afternoon
Mhm.
taking the training through Githurai. So, so again, we can't do Githurai unless we have Mercy, who's the key partner, because we won't ever be able to find the right people.
Yeah.
So she reaches out to people that are the right target group because it doesn't matter the age, but it matters what they're, like what, you know, if you want to be a nurse, then this isn't the program. If you want to be a mechanic, this isn't the program.
Mhm.
But if you want to start a little business,
Mhm.
then this is the program.
Wow, that's really
Mercy's
nice.
definitely been one of an inspiring entrepreneur, even for us as trainers,
Mhm.
and to be able to use her story when talking to the other participants in the programs we're running,
Mhm.
because she's incredible. When did you first meet Mercy?
Well, we met Mercy through online classes because she got connected to one of our partners here, and then we invited her to the class, and then there was like a cohort that was running online, and at that point we were doing some online things and then going to Kibera Town Center
Okay.
because they have a setup, like they have some learning
Yeah,
rooms and they
yeah.
have internet, and then people could, you know, it's easy to find.
Mhm.
So maybe Andrew, if you think of your morning cohort, if there's an example of one of the businesses that is kind of, it could be very basic, but something that's inspiring you.
Yeah, I would say like for the morning cohort, like most of the business are like easy, but simple.
Yeah.
Like maybe they have a general shop or they have tailoring shop. And one of the participants, she's a tailor,
Mhm.
and I would say even though like she's over 50 years old,
Yeah.
but she's still like really active
Mhm.
and passionate to learn new business tools. And so during the class break, she talked to our teachers and she said, we are really grateful that you are providing these business tools, and you're really we can tell that you are really trying to help us understand it.
Mhm.
And like she also talked about how she used the tools in her tailoring shop, like the points of difference, like how she stands out from other tailoring shops. So I think that's definitely one
That
of
was so
the most,
nice.
Yeah, one of the most fulfilling moments
Yeah.
for us trainers. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, that was so cool. That was so cool. So, apart from tailors, that woman who maybe wants to start a business for selling fish, like any kind of business, in a specific place in Githurai, like, do you have a specific woman like who can inspire like the whole community here in Githurai?
For sure, Mercy. Like Mercy, because she's a powerful force, and she would be the person here, and Joshua would be the person in Mathari, and the businesses have a wide range. So to Andrew's point, the one of the key tools that we look at is on the marketing side is, do you have a point of difference? So it's a little catchphrase where it's POD, POP. So points of parity, that everybody has a door on their shop, that's not special, but what's your point of difference? So we're trying to get people to move beyond the general store to have a difference. So in Mercy's case, there's very few salons that have a daycare adjacent,
That's so true.
right? And now she's also moving into making her because she has a chemistry degree, she's making her own, she's going to make her own hair products.
Yeah.
So, and then in Kibera, we had a team to open up the very first ever workout gym in Kibera. And so that's the kind of thing we want to try to inspire. Or if it's the tailor, we don't want someone who's just mending clothes, because you can copy that really fast.
Yes.
We like the idea that she's designing and she's making the dress, because then I can't copy her because I don't have that skill. But if it's just learning to sew, someone can copy quite quickly. So we really push back. To Jaya's point, we don't come up with business ideas because we're not from here.
Yes.
But we do know the tools that you should use. The analogy when people ask, what are you doing? I say, well, if vitamin C is good for you in Canada, it's good for you in Kenya.
Yes.
Like it's not a Canada thing, it's not a Kenya thing.
Yes.
So, and if lots of water is good for you, then it's the same. It's a human body. So some of these tools are everywhere in the world, they're important. And if you don't have them, you're probably going to struggle to succeed. And a lot of people in our class have come and they may have already had 2 or 3 businesses that didn't go where they want them to go, and they've shut them. So that's our goal.
Okay.
I think, you know, like building off of that, we're here to bring the tools, but I think what's been really inspiring is watching them how we can empower each other. So a lot of the way that we approach our teaching is very holistic and very group oriented. So we do a lot of time breaking out in small groups and really focusing on everyone's business and focusing on how these tools apply to specific industries, specific entrepreneurs and businesses. And I think that's been really valuable because it's a lot of learning from one another and not so much just learning from us. Because as Jeff said, like we're here just to bring the stuff that everyone can benefit from and just try to explain it the best we can.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and I would say we do use like the real their business examples to teach in our class. For example, when we taught break-even analysis yesterday, we do use that tailoring example. Like we calculate like the revenue, the cost, and tell everybody in the class. So how many long trousers you need to sell so that you can cover your expenses and reach the target profits. So it's really, I would say everybody's really active because that's what they can immediately put into practice in their business.
I was just saying, so I've been doing this in Africa for 13 years and teaching for 25. And then what's interesting is it's the classroom is very heavily orchestrated. We don't want rows. We don't really want a front. We don't want a back. We want tables like a restaurant, and people are in pods. So the session might be 10 minutes of teaching, and then we try an example that's local, and then at their table they do an example on a flip chart of somebody at their table's business, and then they present it, and then they get feedback. So we call that like the tool cycle. So but that might take an hour and a half to do. And then they're hearing their voices and everything, and we provide the tool. And to Jaya's point, the metaphor we use is it's a toolkit. You can't build a studio like this with a hammer. You need more than a hammer. You need a saw. You need electrical.
We've got so many tools to
So there's not a one tool is going to build a building.
That's okay.
It's 5 or 10 tools, and so that's the focus. The funny thing that happens is lots of these students have been in university for 2, 3, 4 years. Sometimes we teach it that way here in Mathari, and I've had students from Canada come up to me and say, "Why don't you teach like this at home?" Because at home we have a class of 50 and we have a time like 80 minutes and then it's the next class, right? Whereas we try to have this be like the whole morning, and then they come back the next whole day. So the example that you have from the tailor can flow through to the next day. And on the wall has everybody's names and everybody's idea. So it's, by the end, it should be almost like in Canada, we'd have like a kindergarten or grade 1 room that has like the wall filled with things that's very fun for kids. What we want is the wall to be filled with all of their production. So it's not any of our production. All we do is like draw the design, and then, and Andrew said, I try to tell my students they're waiters and waitresses, right? They're bringing like the content, but the students are doing it at their table.
It really makes sure that everyone is learning, so no one gets left behind.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. Additional, Andrew. Oh, that was so nice, and we are so inspired. Somebody somewhere has really been inspired with the information that you've given out. Any information like you'd really like, maybe social media and any platform we can get you, we can reach you.
So probably the easiest, and I think we emailed it. There's one phone number that's probably the easiest to get information.
Okay.
Our online learning, we curate that so people kind of show an interest, and then we can bring them in. So if they go to the one phone number that was left, that's like a central number that they can get information.
So you can share with our viewers your numbers, huh?
That number I think we shared in the email.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I don't know it by heart.
Oh,
they've got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm so happy to have you in our studio today, and keep on keeping on the good job that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, karibuni sana.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
Kilamarambale. That's what we tell everybody all the time. No use looking back. Everything's in the front.
Yeah, everything is in
And you
front,
can learn
yeah.
from the past,
Yeah.
but look for opportunities ahead, and that's what we have. And what a Kenyan taught me this phrase a long time ago, and they're tired of hearing it. But I said, I want to learn a phrase that's not just like a Mzungu trying to say some words. And she said, okay, for what you're trying to do, it's haba na haba, kujaza kibaba. Right? And that's what it is, because we spend 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes, you don't get there. You don't get to your career to where you are in 1 hour.
In 1 hour, yeah.
Right? People that are in the studio here doing technological stuff, they're not 1 hour of training.
That's so true.
And it's Kiyoki, and then it's Haba na Haba, Hujaza
Jaza
Kibaba.
kibaba.
Always.
Mhm.
And it's the same for Jaya going to school, same for Andrew.
Yeah.
They don't go to school for one day and then become an accountant or a marketing person.
Yes, yes.
So that's what we're trying to train, is to just take it slowly, and we'll try to build out a whole toolkit. And it's our privilege to be here.
Karibuni, karibuni sana.
Oh.
Oh, you all speak Swahili?
We're
We're
learning.
learning.
We're learning.
Nasoma Kiswahili.
Oh, nasoma Kiswahili. That's really nice. That's really nice. And any single word in Swahili apart from salamu and other stuff?
Asante sana.
Oh, karibu, karibu, karibu. What a-
Well, just the phrases that I've learned, and then I just think that having people focus on that and focus on opportunities,
Yeah.
and it's been fantastic. The other thing we do, which is maybe some people that will be in that university, we partner actually also with Strathmore University.
Okay.
So we have 20 or 30 Kenyans in a class who are entrepreneurs. We have 2 or 3 or 4 teachers from Canada, and then every class has a Strathmore University student, not for translation purposes, but to team teach with us. And so that we're trying to just have networks and connectivity as much as we can. And then what we did actually, when we went back to COVID, and we were online, then the Strathmore University students that had been with us before, they came into the sessions and trained. So they became the lead trainers in person,
Okay.
and then we were zooming in. So yeah, it's a great partnership.
Karibuni, karibuni,
Asante sana.
karibuni. It was really nice catching up with you guys. Karibuni, any day, anytime, you're welcome here. Yes, yes, yes. Rico, additional?
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for being there in the studio,
Yeah.
and thank you for the ideas that you have shared. I hope our viewers, you have got something that you can inspire yourself with. Opportunities are there, so make a point of using all these platforms, and you'll be blessed together. So we'll be back. We're going for a short break. Then we'll be back. We are going this song on Deborah Lukaku that says "We Testify." Then we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
Yeah.